so it should officially start. I'm just gonna delete all the other ones. It's madness. Okay, we'll leave that. What's up, fellas? We are just trying to set this up. Give me like 2 or 3 more minutes. We should have it up. Streams, sometimes they just do not go the way you originally planned for them to go. But give me a second. I'm going to figure this out. All right, so we are up and running. Again, I apologize for a little hiccup, but we're good to go. All right. So just to explain, I had it set up in the event section, and it's my first time setting this up to where pretty much it's supposed to like, you're supposed to connect it to OBS and it's supposed to start up once you hit start stream. But was just having technical difficulties, so I just had to do it manually. But yeah, we are on here. So do apologize for what up, official Mel. Do apologize for the slow startup, but yeah, we should be good. Just give me about 2 more minutes. Let me finalize this, and then we can take off the "be back soon" sign. Cool. All right, looks good. Looks good. All right. Okay, we are up. So for those of you guys watching, again, hit that thumbs up button, and I hope it directed you where it should be, because I have this posted on Twitter and on other social media network too. So I hope like by clicking that link it brings you to the channel, not anywhere else. All right, so let's go. We're good. Be back soon sign is off, so we are officially ready to start. Thank you. We got 4 people on. Official Mel, am I saying your name right? Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So to get started, this is the Cloud Gaming X podcast. So I try to do this every other week, but it's been pretty cool because what I've been saying lately is I want to get the Stadia community involved on podcasts, right? So today we have a special guest, and he is someone who personally I feel like is one of the most loyal Stadia fan that I know of. So his name is Chase, and he's going to be in this podcast with me. So Chase, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, before I introduce myself, let me just say, Ace, you do an amazing job, and I really want to commend you for some of the work that you've been doing. So first, let me start with that.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. And as far as me and kind of my videos that I've posted up, I really haven't. My intent hasn't been to be kind of a YouTube creator, if you will, and that's kind of your intent, if you will, with some of the videos that you do. But mine was really to kind of get out there and kind of stop the misinformation, the hate, the lies that we've seen with Stadia and cloud gaming. And my ultimate goal is really to just, occasionally I pop up some content, but I've really tried to, I don't know if I'd say be an extra voice, if you will. But that's kind of really been my intent, is to kind of get out there and say, look, here's the positives about the service, and absolutely there are things that are concerns, and I think we can be very honest about
True.
that. But at the end of the day, we have to be honest, and I think that's where me and you see eye to eye on a lot of things. Is that we've seen a lot of individuals across social media, YouTube, have just tried to force their preferences on other people, and that's where I really draw the line.
True.
You don't need someone to tell you as a
Yeah.
consumer, meaning everyone that's watching the stream. You have to make an informed decision about your
Right.
purchases, and that's really what the intent of these videos are.
True.
So.
And I do I think you do an excellent job, just like not being biased. You pretty much you involved in every Stadia creators page, right? I see you on Twitter, I see you on Facebook. You comment on videos, so it just shows you passion for Stadia, right? You want it to succeed, you're excited about it, and yeah, pretty much I see you like sharing a bunch of other YouTubers or creators stuff about Stadia. So again, one of the most loyal and passionate Stadia fan that I know. So appreciate that. All right, so to get started, we want to talk about the perception that people are having about Stadia recently. And as you guys can see, a lot of it changing, right, from negative to positive. When Stadia was first unveiled at GDC, you guys heard a lot of journalists and YouTubers just bashing it, right, saying it was going to fail, saying it was not going to succeed. And so that narrative carried on, right? They had another keynote at Connect at E3, same thing after that, right? You have RGT, you have Spawnwave, you have all these big YouTubers just beaten down on Stadia. And then just recently, with Gamescom and PAC West, we're seeing perception changing from negative to positive. You've seen IGN, you've seen Dustin Legary like testing out Doom and having nothing but like positive things to say about Doom, and talking about like being excited to get it when it releases. And also you've seen people posting Twitter about like hands-on experience at PAC West, and how they're really excited for Doom and really excited to test out Stadia. So that's pretty cool to see, like the narrative changing. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about like why those narrative might possibly be changing, and we're going to talk about like why they were there to begin with. And then at the end of the podcast, we have like bonus conversations where we're going to talk about Apple Arcade, right? We're going to talk about EA Atlas, those being two streaming devices that was just announced this week. And then we also going to talk about our excitement about Stadia and what we're looking forward to it. So yeah, just want to give you guys a blueprint of how this podcast is going to go. Chase, do you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I think the if you feel comfortable with us jumping into that first topic about the perceptions piece, it's very interesting, and I kind of talked about this in my one of the videos I posted up recently, that, and I think everybody said the same thing. To be completely candid, that we wouldn't start seeing the needle shift with. And this doesn't just go for Stadia. I mean, Stadia is the main thing that we talk about because it's really the front runner right now, if you will, in the cloud gaming space. But we wouldn't see that needle shift until people actually started to get their hands on it. And you've heard a lot of people use this analogy, and I want to give a shout out to somebody real quick, because I've talked about it in the video. But there was a YouTuber, his name was Blunt Talk, and he made this comment about how throughout history, as a consumer, we don't really realize that we need something until we have it in our hands. And this is one of those services that it's a convenience factor. Let's just take the Switch, for example, just very quickly. What did the Switch do? And we talked about this off the air the other evening, but the Switch, a lot of people initially thought it wouldn't be successful, and immediately it was a hit because of the fact that you could literally take it anywhere. Um, Mostly, a lot of people mention it within their home. They could be able to go over to the couch while their significant other was watching a television show, and Stadia will be that for a lot of
Yeah.
people. And we'll get into this a little bit later. One of the things you touched on with the footprint, but ultimately, the perception component, a lot of the hate that you've seen up to this point has really been individuals, again, that are pushing their own preference on you and
Yeah.
I, and looking at something in the space of, well, I don't like it. It's not something that fits my lifestyle. Therefore, you shouldn't like
Right.
it either. And that's just not um, a fair proposition to anyone, because I've said this in a recent video that's going to be coming up this weekend, but if you're a mobile gamer, be a mobile gamer. If you're a console gamer, be a console gamer. If you're a cloud gamer, be a cloud gamer. None of those are mutually exclusive. And there's nothing wrong with being any one of those three. It really comes down to
Yeah.
preference. Um, and that's where you just have to be honest about things. Look, every single one of those spaces has their pros and they have their cons. And you have to look at it for yourself. Is it something that works for you? Maybe. Is it something where, do you have the best internet available? It's, again, keeping it relevant to
Right.
Stadia. I think I do. I have 80 megs down. I don't know how much you have down, Ace, but for me, that's a potential option. It's something that I definitely want to try to
Right.
give a shot. In that regard. So
True. True. Yeah, that's a good, and we'll touch up on that. So you mentioned, I saw you throw in there some of the negative perceptions. I saw you throw in there
mhm.
like some of the positives. So we'll that's awesome. Just a preview of what we're gonna discuss, but we'll touch on every single one of those things that you mentioned. But just what do you think, Chase, that caused these negative perception to begin with when it comes to Stadia in general?
Fear, fear of the
Yeah.
unknown,
Yeah.
collectors, and that's one that is a big one. And I do genuinely, and I say this again with, I really mean this, and I've said this a hundred times. I've said this a
Yeah.
couple of
No,
times.
you're
Sorry,
good.
um, that I do understand where these individuals are coming from that are afraid of the digital future, if you will. And I think that's another one. I also think data caps are a big one, and that's one that is a very honest conversation that we need to have. Um, you know, I'm in a space where I have a data cap. I'm going to have to seriously consider that. So that is something that people are
Right.
concerned about. Gamer, this is one that we didn't talk about, Ace, but game ownership too.
True.
And we can kind of go back and forth on that one, because we're already kind of in that digital space as it is with licensing and
Right.
DRMs and all this great
Right.
stuff. But it's still something that the average, and again, we're talking about the average consumer, they're looking at it in the concept of, I can hold something in my hand versus it's something that's in a digital
True.
footprint. They're looking at the two against each other. So I think those are your four big ones. I think it's really fear of the unknown, physical media slash
Right.
collectors, data caps, and then, well, basically the same thing, that the physical versus the
Right.
digital, for the average
Right.
consumer.
Yeah, a lot of truth to that for sure. And just cloud gaming in general, when you think of it, there's a lot of concerns, right? Like you were saying, the data cap issues. If you are a physical collector, you have the issue of like what's gonna happen to all the hundreds of dollars I spent on my collection. So the truth of what you know comes with cloud gaming and streaming is a concern for a lot of people, and that definitely can spark some negative perception, right? What if I don't have
Right.
enough data cap in a month, right? What if I don't have a fast enough internet, right? Is that going to affect latency? So yeah, that is true. Like negative perception can come with just the reality of streaming. I mean, people did the same thing when Netflix was coming. They were concerned about how is this going to work, right? This is a new technology. Is it
Yep.
is it am I going to have a good enough connection to my bed? am I gonna have a good enough connection to make this work? What am I gonna need to access this? I have a DVD player. Would that play my Netflix? Um, so there's a lot of questions again because it's a new technology. So what I find interesting though is now you look at where Netflix is and you look at what like Apple just had their conference, and they are coming up with their own movie subscription pass, and you see what Amazon is trying to do too. Everyone's trying to get a piece of that, but it all started with negative perception towards stuff like Netflix when it originally started. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, you make a good point with that. So my question to you then, Chase, is what do you think has been going differently lately to make people change from that negative perspective that we just talked about into more positive perspective? What do you think is happening, in the gaming industry that is kind of making that change for some people?
Well, I touched on it a little bit in the very beginning, kind of got a little ahead of myself there, like you said. But I think part of it has to do with it's the hands-on experience to the service. One part of it has to do with that. Another part of it has to do with people are seeing feedback from people that went either to Gamescom or PAX West, and they're hearing those positive stories from individuals that are not paid media or biased media, if you will, towards the service. I also think something else that's a big one in regards to cloud gaming in general is that there are already services that are in existence that people can then go back to. And I think this is a big one and you already do a good job of this, Ace, but I think everyone that's in this Stadia or cloud gaming community really needs to continue to hit on this, because this is how you start, again, shifting the narrative away from the misconceptions that are happening. Geforce Now, and this is the big one. This is the one that I think is the biggest one to tie back to, is Project Stream from 2018. That was a solid rollout. And I want to give you a timeline of something, because this is very important, and this is how I look at things, compared to where the masses or the trends go, because people follow trends. We know this. Project Stream, when it rolled out and people were using the service, you can go back to that timeline and go back on Twitter, look at how positive the feedback was from people.
Very positive.
People were impressed.
Very positive.
Exactly. People were impressed with the service, or the beta, if you will, or alpha of the service, right? And what shifted the conversation back towards a negative viewpoint was the masses perpetuated this idea. Google never said this. The masses perpetuated this idea that it was a Netflix type of subscription, which we know was never going to be the case. And we can talk about this in a little bit too. But ultimately, the shift to that negative perception and then back to the positive where we're at now, that movement again has happened because of people seeing that the service works. So I think that's the biggest thing that people need to focus in on, is focus in on the things that are working right now that you can tie back to. And that's what's going to, the needle will continue to shift. And the more people get their hands on the service, like at PAX and Gamescom, that needle will continue to shift as well. So it has to do with hands-on, positive stories from individuals. And you touched on one, Ace. You're now seeing the media, the big media, like IGN, which I was shocked when I saw Dustin LeGarrette come out and say what he said. I was like, is this the same Dustin LeGarrette? I just didn't know what to expect. I'm like, did they was it body snatchers? Like, what happened to this man? So that's what's going to continue to move this needle. And if that happens, if there's let me rephrase that, not flawless. If there is a better than expected rollout in November, then this service will be fine. That's just my personal opinion. It just has to get in people's hands. Once that happens, then that's when the needle shifts.
Dude, you make an excellent point with Project Stream, right? When that released, a lot of even it's interesting. I went back and I viewed some people like Spunwave when they tested it out. They had nothing. They were like, "This is magic. This is wizardry. Like, how is Google able to pull this off?" Right? And then 2019 came and it's like, "Oh, this is gonna fail. This is going to suck." But I think the hands-on experience, right, having people test it out, I feel like that's why Pac West and Gamescom was so successful, because they actually put it in the hands of people. I tested it out myself, and I was really amazed by how well it played. And I've been playing Geforce Now for the longest time, and I have to tell you, it's night and day, like seriously. And again, that experience of having the controller is magical. Once you guys test that out, but yeah, having people test out the controller, and then
you don't know how jealous I am, Ace. You don't know how
seriously,
jealous I am,
it's oh my goodness, I can't stop talking about that controller. It's amazing. It's amazing tech. But yeah, putting that in the hands of people, and then having them just have that experience of, okay, 1-to-1, really no latency issue here, right? That this game looks really good. Am I really playing this right now through streaming? That experience then becomes a reality for some people. Like, oh my goodness, this actually works. But yeah, hands-on is huge, and I feel like that's one of the big things that we've seen with the change of perspective. The other thing that I'm noticing is that Google are actually being mindful of having a better PR. You have all these big YouTubers, bashing Stadia, but recently you've seen them actually invite YouTubers. Like we had Tommy T999 talk about his experience of like Google flying him into Gamescom, and then they actually let him record gameplay footage of Doom, and then he talked about his experience and how it was positive. So the fact that they're allowing people to actually test it, get footage of it, and then talk about it is huge. And also, one of the things we missed in the negative perception part was how they introduced Stadia, at their conference at the Connect and GDC. They did it so poorly. The PR was so poor. They just said Stadia and didn't give a lot of information as to what Stadia can do and stuff like that. And we're seeing them, even the last Connect, I forgot who was the first guy that came, but we were talking about this yesterday, but he just was hitting points after points after points with the concerns that people, were having about Stadia. So I feel like we're seeing...
We're talking about the YouTuber?
Yeah, was it? No. The last Connect, the first presenter...
So that was Ray Batista.
He was just on, like, this is what Stadia is, this is what you're gonna, like, he just explained what it was and the misconception. And I feel like stuff like that helps, put Stadia, makes it clear to some people and puts it, in a more positive light, so people can have positive perception. But yeah,
it's interesting you say that, because the PR piece is a big one, and let's just be honest about something. So, and this isn't an excuse, so I want to make sure that people don't take this out of context, what I'm about to say, but Google is a very young company when it comes to gaming.
Absolutely.
Now, they're not a young company to technology, if you will. So they are learning as they go. And I talked about this in a video about how someone made the analogy that they're literally building the ship as they go.
That's how they always do it.
And they have. You're 100% right. With anything that they have built over time, they have gone with that type of strategy. Let's just get the platform there, and then we'll worry about
building on top of
the
it.
finer details. You're right, exactly, in the long run. But the PR piece is interesting, because I just don't think, and this is the crazy part, like, let's think about who all they have. They've got Phil Harrison, ex-Microsoft, ex-Sony, executive. Jade
Yep.
Raymond used to be with, God, help me out
Ubisoft,
here.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
Ubisoft,
Co-founder.
right? Right.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, huge
Yep.
marketability and reach with different game
Yep.
developers, different game publishers. So you have individuals in the team that have the knowledge to make those types of moves. The problem is they're going about this in such a Google S
Yeah.
type of way, which I wasn't surprised that they did it
Right.
that way. But that's not how you draw people in. You got to have the messaging be simple. And you're right. That last connect was just the first part of it was I was like, Jesus, why didn't you guys do this
From the
in the
get-go.
first
Yeah.
connect? It's so
Yep.
simple. It literally explained everything that they needed to explain in a 2.5 minute cut, and then you saw the Stadia Cast interview with John Justice, and that's honestly, this is how I look at this. The fact that
Yes.
they are seeing that they realize now, look, we've got to get
Yep.
out to people and have
Yep.
honest dialogue, even if we can't talk about
Yep.
everything. And I hope we get to this at some point, Ace, about contracts. We talked about
Yeah.
this last night and being realistic about what Google can
Yep.
and can't say about
Yep.
certain things. But they're doing it the right way. That this is what they need to do
Yep.
moving forward, and they need to connect with the community, whether it's with you or
Yep.
Stadia Cast or anybody else, or even do. Look, I'd even be happy if they did a live stream every
Yeah.
2 weeks and said, "Hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
come on, we're gonna have a live chat like we're doing,
Yeah.
tonight, with everybody coming in and post some questions. We'll
Yep.
try to answer as much
Yep.
as we can."
Yeah, great point. And yeah, just to shout out, I talked about another one of the other reasons why we're starting to see positive, perspective on Stadia is because I feel like other YouTubers are starting to make positive content. And just shout out to Stadia Cast. If you guys haven't watched that podcast that they did with
Mhm.
John Justice, pretty awesome name, but if you guys haven't watched
Superhero
that,
John
yeah,
Justice. Get it right, Ace.
yeah, seriously, right? Superhero, that was very informative. You guys definitely have to check it out. Check out Stadia Cast, but stuff like that. And we have Generation of Stadia. He's actually on here. I see him
I was getting ready to say,
writing.
yeah, he's in here.
But
Sunny's in
dude, you
here
guys
officially
have to
now.
check out his channel as well. Just definitely Stadia content, and it's like rapid fire Stadia content, daily uploads and stuff like that. And you have the glory of Stadia as well, also. And he's starting to put out daily content too, but just having those content creators like talk
Yep.
positively about Stadia, that is really helpful. Even though we're a small community right now, the fact that Stadia Cast was noticed, by John Justice out of everyone shows that no matter how small of a YouTube channel you have, you can make an impact, So I just want to say kudos to the content creators who are just speaking positively about Stadia. And we need more of those. So if you're thinking about it, you should start it. But yeah, just want to give people a shout out for sure. Keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing,
All of
because it
those
is
people you
helping
mentioned
the
are
community.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't mean to talk over you, by the
No,
way,
you
but
good. You good.
Generation Stadia does an amazing job. Glory does too.
Yeah.
Stadia Cast does. You and Sunny do a great job. Ace with
Yeah.
this channel. It's these little things add up, and the more that people do this, I really think you're going to see Google try to connect with a lot of you guys. I do. I really truly believe it, because they know that people that are interested in the platform are following you all, and how's the best way to connect and show goodwill. It's simple business.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you really break it down, I'm heartened that they're doing it, and I think they're genuinely trying to do it because they
Yeah.
know how to get the feedback.
Yeah.
But it's also extremely smart business. When was it? Everyone that's watching this stream right now, I want to ask you an honest question. You don't have to post anything in the chat, but think to yourself: when was the last true time you saw a platform vice president or head
Yeah.
come onto a small
Yep.
YouTube
Yep.
platform and engage
Yep.
You haven't. You
Yeah.
just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And I was DMing Stadia Cast as well. Just I was like, dude, how did you Bill Jumpstop? That's his but anyway, I was like, yo, how did you pull that off? And he was like, yo, they reached out to me. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, can you believe it? And so I was like, dag, that's so cool. Like the fact that they reached out to him. Like he wasn't, I went to Pac West like trying to get info and I couldn't, but they reached out to him. It was crazy. It's pretty cool. And that shows like how, interested they are and how they want to make this successful. The fact that they are reaching to the little YouTubers, to just get. I mean, they could have easily picked like PewDiePie or whoever, one of the biggest, gaming,
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and so just more of that going forward, I feel like will be, good for them. More good PR, more pulling. It doesn't even have to be other small YouTubers, big YouTubers as well. Get in some more footage like they did with Tommy T99. I know Nintendo, you just put me on that video last night. I actually watched it. It was like a 23-minute video. I know Google did not fly him out, but just having a big YouTuber like that talk positively too about Stadia, it's good. It's good for the community. It's good for Stadia. It's good for everyone. So we need to see more of that.
Yep.
But just want to take a sec to look at the chat real quick. We haven't acknowledged some of the people on here, and we haven't. I see a lot of you guys are typing, so let's just give shout outs real quick and just see if we can answer some questions with some of the community members here. Official Mel, what's up? Generation of Stadia, what up? I see you. Sonny, what's up, bro? How are ya? Let's see. You guys are definitely engaging here. Agreed with the statement. People need to try it before they buy it. Though I hope keyboard and mouse work. Well, I don't want to play in the control. Yeah, you're a PC guy, Sonny.
I was actually laughing at that comment during when you were talking because it made me think about how there's a huge population of PC gamers that are going to eat this service up. I really believe it. And Sonny, it's funny you say that. I think wasn't it Bill Ace that asked about are they going to have a Wi-Fi mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
And he actually said, "Well, not right now." But interestingly enough, John actually said, "I'm thinking about it." And you know why he's thinking about it? He's a PC gamer.
Yep.
John Justice is a PC gamer.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah. And exactly, like this is going to be geared to a lot of people who play PC games. So yeah, just having my question is, if they do make it, like one of the benefit of the Stadia control is how pretty much it reports back to the Google server. So they're going to have to implement that somehow
right.
in the mouse and keyboards. I think that's a challenge that they're facing, but knowing Google, they can crack that and figure it out. It's just a matter of time.
it gets real complicated when you're dealing with Wi-Fi, and I think the problem that they're thinking about is that you have two separate devices that have to connect to Wi-Fi versus just one with a controller.
Exactly.
So again, I think I have my brain goes all over the place because I've just got some networking background. So I know that would be an extreme challenge, but it's not. You just said this really well. It's not unsurmountable. Google can do it.
Yeah, true. So that is what we feel like is causing the positive perception in Stadia. So just Google, keep doing what you're doing. We heard through that StadiaCast interview that there are going to be more connects coming before it releases. So hopefully they continue, right? Positive PR. And just be more clear. The other thing I was gonna mention, I made a video about this. They need to just really stop hyping Connects up, right? Just if you're gonna do something great, do it. Let your actions speak louder than the hype up, right? So just being like, oh, we have it, exciting announcement coming, and it's just like mediocre. You get the community worked up. You get the the press pumped up, and then they come, and then they're like, this is it, no new exclusives, we've seen all these games before. You didn't have to hype that up. So going forward, like, just cut down I know you guys excited to see new console coming, but don't hype it up if you guys are not gonna have, like, bangers to show us, right? So that's another thing that I hope they fix going forward. Just don't hype up Connects if there's really not much you're gonna show there. But we appreciate the Connects, though. Don't get me wrong. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agree. And Mel actually put a comment in the chat talking about how he thinks the next Connect's going to be really good. I actually just responded to it. I do think that they're going to do. I think this next Connect will be kind of a mix of the things that maybe they didn't get right in the first and the second one, them fixing some of those issues, and I also think they're going to try to do their best to provide us with some new games. I don't know. Do you want me to throw this in here just very quickly about the negotiation thing we were talking about last night?
That was very informative. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I do want to put something out there, and I've noticed a lot of people have been very frustrated with Google in regards to why can't they say something about this, or why can't they talk about this, or they're just very like hush hush about Uplay Plus, for example, or Fortnite, the free option. So people have to understand in the gaming industry and just in the legal space, when you're dealing with negotiations with contracts, you really can't come out and talk about stuff until it's really, the ink has dried on the paper. So I'm going to give you an example. The one that we were talking about last night was in regards to EA titles, right?
Yeah.
And how we haven't heard any announcements about any EA games officially being on the service. I can tell you 110%, if they had those titles locked up right now today, they would have already announced it, because it allows them to create that hype. What I think's going on, and we'll touch on this a little bit later in the roadmap that you have, Ace, but there's probably still negotiations going on with EA for the titles being on the service. So until that's finished, they can't come out and talk about it. As much as we want them to, and I get it, I know why people are frustrated about that. I know why people are frustrated about Activision not being on the service. Until the ink is dry, they can't talk about it, because it then hurts their leveraging position in that negotiation process. Same thing with Uplay Plus. That's likely not, like, every single piece of that is likely not all the way finalized yet. Even though they made the preliminary announcement, there's probably still agreements that have to be mapped out to make sure this is here, this is the communication. We're going to have this uniform communication on your side and our side. So all those things have to be in place in order for them to make that kind of an announcement. So just be patient. I know it's frustrating, but we will get there eventually.
No, good point. They don't want to, mess up public relationship that they have. If they're trying to get, the third party support that they need, they can't leak things out early. And actually, it's kudos that we haven't heard any leaks in that regard yet. Like, EA or Activision, we haven't had any leaks. So they're definitely doing something right. And it is true. Like, if they want this to be a successful thing going forward in the gaming world and industry, they have to build that respect, and you do that by just keeping hush until you have confirmation that you can talk about something. So you're right. Just be patient. I know even they've stated, and when I interviewed the maker of Kind, she even said they have stuff, like, she saw what's coming out on launch day, and she was like, her words, they have shit that they haven't even announced yet, and just like more is coming. So I do think we're gonna see more games. I think free to play is something that they're aware is very popular right now. You know, games like Warframe, games like Fortnite, they know people want those games. So I know for sure that they're working to bring that over to Stadia. It's just a matter of time. I think we'll see those things. But yeah, good point. Good point with that. So just let's move to the bonus conversations. And what we've stated about this is we're going to talk about the newly announced streaming service. You know, you have the Apple Arcade and you have the EA Atlas, right? So, well, Chase, I'll open that up to you. What do you want to say about EA Atlas and Apple Arcade?
Well, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a sneak peek. So if you're watching this podcast, you're going to get a little bit of a heads up on the video that's coming out on Sunday. That you'll see it on my channel. It's actually set to premiere at, I think it's 2:30 in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to. I wanted to kind of have that drop after the Stadia Cast show that they do every Sunday. So out of respect for them, I didn't want to put it up at the same time. So, but EA is being they're being very strategic. And here's what I think is happening. And again, I always try to look at things through a business lens. And I think two things. So one, when we saw the first Kinect for Stadia, if you remember, we saw the EA Sports logo and just the EA logo in general. EA is going to be on Stadia.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be a streaming option, and I'm going to tell you why. And then I'll tell you about we can talk about the service a little bit too, but EA has set this up into where they're looking at it from a cost analysis perspective. So you and I, let's say that we're interested in a library of EA games, you know, FIFA, Madden, Need for Speed, trying to think what else I'm missing on there, Titanfall, what's another FPS that they have on there?
You said Titanfall.
Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield.
Right?
Apex Legends too? That's
Apex
as well, yeah.
You could throw that on there, even though it's kind of a free-to-play game. But but ultimately what they're doing is they're saying, look, we're going to offer you a subscription model. You can have all these titles. You can play them as many times as you want. But what we're going to do is you have to play it on our service.
That's EA for you.
Right. So, and it's smart because even with the streaming service that we're going to get with Uplay, I don't think, and I could be 100% wrong on this with Stadia, I really don't think they're going to force you to have Pro and have the Uplay, because no one's going to go for that. It's too much. There's too many layers to it. It's too complex. I think it's more of a Stadia gets a cut of a portion of that, and then Ubisoft keeps the rest. EA, we know how EA operates. They're not going to want to give anybody a cut if they don't have to. Yeah. So if they can keep 100% of that revenue and say, look, if you want to play our titles in a streaming model or a subscription service, great. It's going to be through us, though. Yeah. We're not going to play games with anybody else. Yep. So that's really what I think they're up to. They played this little coy game about how, you know, we're creating this and we're going to have developers come on. Yeah. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I really don't.
No, they can't. I mean, they don't. I mean, EA has good IPs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like they have enough IP to be that attractive to get other people to come along to the platform. But knowing EA, they'll try. Oh my goodness, they'll try to nickel and dime and, you know, get as much money as they can, you know, through the streaming service. But yeah, it's interesting. So personally, I've tried Atlas. If you guys went on my Twitter, I posted like I got invited to try it. Right now, that is. I was telling Chase about it's in beta. It works, but it's not the best streaming service. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And so it's pretty interesting right now. If you go on YouTube and if you try to search for videos about Atlas, you cannot find. There's one video of a guy playing it on it, but it's not even it, because he was playing Madden, and Madden is not even one of the games, one of the 4 games that they let you stream. So that is actually, and you can't even use it on the mobile device. It's just on PC or Mac. So that video is false. But anyway, you're not gonna find any video on Atlas right now, and that's because they don't want any recording. They are not allowing anyone to record. They don't even want you talking about it. You can't show anything about it because they know that it's in the beta state. But anyway, my experience with it, it's pretty cool. Even though it was laggy as hell, just the fact that I was actually playing Titan Force 2, streaming it, was pretty dope. And then FIFA worked pretty well, even though it wasn't FIFA 20, it was 19. But again, this just gets me excited for cloud gaming in general. Like, I'm really, really excited to see like big companies like EA. You hear about Square Enix possibly working on something. You have Ubisoft, even though Uplay's not a streaming service. Watch that video if you haven't yet. But you have them being mindful of subscriptions. So the future of streaming looks bright, and to me, that's really, really exciting. But what are your thoughts on Apple Arcade, though, Chase?
So, again, spoiler alert. It's interesting. It's going to appeal to individuals that are already using Apple devices. The way that they have marketed this, I could be wrong on this, but it doesn't appear that in the medium term, so the first 2, maybe 3 years, that they're going to move to other devices beyond Apple. It's really geared for mobile gaming.
Yep.
And, to be fair, mobile gaming is a huge and very lucrative space in the gaming market. But I don't know that it's a direct competitor to Stadia per se. I do think it will pull some people away that are already that they have kids, they already have the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah.
But I think what sets Stadia apart, and this is something else that I think people really have to hit on when they're talking about these comparisons. Stadia in 2020 is going to be available on more than just Google devices.
Yep.
Yes, at launch, it's going to be Pixel 3, 3XL, 3A, 3A XL. But in 2020, it will be launching on potentially Samsung. You could be seeing it on iOS.
Yeah.
So Stadia is not landlocked to one ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's what separates it apart. And it's more of your AAA console, high-end gaming PC titles. Apple Arcade is more of they had 1 or 2, what I would consider to be console quality games, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But nothing catalog wise that's really that big. Again, I want to be fair. I really think the price point's good.
Yeah.
I do think it will appeal to a certain group that is interested in those types of games. I do think it'll be interesting to see if it's successful, just like the EA service. I don't think EA's service is, again, necessarily a direct competitor if you look at it only being one ecosystem.
Yeah.
But it is in that space, and this does compete in the space of the being able to move around, so that convenience factor gaming. And I think that's another term that I think is going to maybe be one that's important moving forward, is that a lot of these that's it. Yeah. A lot of these spaces that we're seeing are convenience factor types of gaming platforms, because it just makes it easier for you to say, you know what? I'm playing, we'll just make up a game, Title AB, right?
Yeah.
So that game I played on my Apple phone, my iPhone. I stopped, cross progression. I pick up on my iPad right where I left off, right where I had all my loot that I picked up, my extra life that I picked up. So that is going to be the way that you're going to see people look at gaming moving forward, is what's going to be convenient for me? What's going to be the best way for me to enjoy the games that I want to enjoy? And if you like Apple products and you like those games that they're presenting, you're probably going to buy into that $4.99 price point.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. I like you were saying, I don't think it's a direct competitor to Stadia. If anything, from what people have stated, Google is actually working on the Google Play service that's going to be around the same
Yep.
price. I think that's
Yep.
what, it's a whole different ball game. I feel like
That's a
with
direct competitor.
yeah,
Yep.
I feel like with Stadia, they going for like the hardcore console market. I mean, the Steams, the PSN, Nintendo, eShop. I feel like that's what Google's trying to like compete with compared to what
Yep.
Apple is doing with arcade. But nonetheless, though, streaming though going forward, right, is the fact that Apple is in the game now, even though it's not a direct competition. It's pretty cool to see, and again, just shows moving forward. even though the collectors don't want to accept this, the future of digital streaming is coming, whether whether they'll like it or not.
Well, look at this.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out here to everybody.
Yeah.
And this is a great point to put out to people. And it's not to put people down, but it's a fact. You have to talk about it. GameStop, we just talked about this last night,
Yep.
is shutting down 200 stores nationwide.
Yeah.
200 stores.
Yeah.
And again, let's look at the timeline here. This was before Stadia's even made it to the market.
Yeah.
So
True.
The argument about, well, Stadia is going to close up all these physical markets, or these physical stores, if you will, it just isn't true.
Yeah.
Digital was already in place in the last 3.5 years,
Yeah.
and we talked about the DRMs and the licensing and all that. Even with Steam, go look at your user agreement with Steam. You have a license to that game.
Yeah.
If Steam was ever to shut down, you would lose that title. Just like with PlayStation, I can't tell you how many, Ace. I've lost at least 5 titles off of the PlayStation Store digitally because the publisher was pulled off of the platform.
Wow.
Most games today, and you're seeing this be more of a trend, and I've talked about this, most games today have a digital DRM in it, what does that basically mean in layman's terms? You have to be connected to the internet to play the game.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Again, this argument of, well, I don't want to have to be on the internet. Well, most of the games you play require that. Now, older games like DuckTales and Scott Pilgrim, they didn't have DRMs. The ones that people have been arguing about. But most games now do.
Yeah.
You have to be connected. So
True. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we are in for an exciting future when it comes to digital and streaming. But let me take a sec. A lot of you guys have been writing in the comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of good questions in
here. Just cover some of that. Let's see. So Generation Stadia said PC gamer, he's a PC gamer, has a strong setup. Honestly speaking, I use Geforce Now daily. I love not having to give up storage on my HDD every time I want to play a game. Dude, seriously, after this, I'm going to be streaming Borderlands 3. And the fact that I just went to the Epic Store, purchased it, and opened up Geforce Now was there and was able to like play it already without having to install. Dude, that is so cool, man. That is so cool. It's not taking up any space in my hardware. I don't have to wait for a patch. I mean, it's so convenient. But yeah, I hear you in that.
And Ace, you have, so look at your situation. You have a family.
Yeah.
So when you come home, you're already limited on time.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat. When I come home, from work, the last thing I want to be worrying about is, I'm just gonna give you an example. Let's say it's Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
So get home, Cyberpunk has just dropped.
Yep.
I'm loading up the game. Oh, great. Yep. 2.5 hour patch, 2.5 hour download. All right. Well, I guess I won't be playing this tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus Stadia next year, you literally are going to say, you know what? Here's the link. Boom, click it. I'm in.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, again, that convenience factor.
Right. And that's actually what we're going to talk about next, which is what we're excited about with Stadia. So that's exciting that you said that, but we'll cover that more in a bit. Just, do you see anything that pops up to you in the chat, Chase, that you want to or
Yeah,
just
I
talk
actually
about
was looking at. Let me see where it's at here. Uh,
Holy Spirit said Apple Arcade doesn't look like it's for console gamers. I agree. True.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. And then
Yeah.
someone made the comment that they thought I was throwing shade about the Ducktales comment. Um, and I really wasn't. I was just trying to use that as an example that you hear that thrown out there, and it's just really not comparable to what to some of the things that are going on today. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I that was a good comment by let me see where that one was at you were talking about. It was Jay Smith, and he wrote it at the same time that you said about the Play Pass.
Oh yeah.
That Google's going to have their own version of that, and it will actually be, just so everyone knows if they didn't, it will also be priced at the same competitive price
Yep.
point. It will be $4.99.
Exactly. Yep. That's what I read. Rumor with the rumors about it. It's gonna be around
Yep.
$5 or $6, but
Yep.
yeah. Okay, cool. I think I'm looking, make sure I didn't miss 2K20 got a way to install to get, yeah. Yeah, that way to install, man. It's not cool. Don't like it at all.
It sucks,
it,
man.
it does. It does. But this is perfect for the next segment, which is what we excited about when it comes to just cloud gaming, especially like Google Stadia, right? Chase, I think you hit this right in the head when you were talking about just like having a family, right? Time is for me personally, time is very, very limited. That's why I love my Switch, right? The fact that
Right.
I can play it at home, just in the mornings I wake up, I do my stuff in the morning, paperwork for work, and then I play a little game, and then I go to work. And my job, I'm a mental health therapist, so if a client cancels, I get like an hour to do whatever the heck I want. So I bring my Switch, and then I can continue with where I left off from in the morning at work if I have a cancellation. So seriously, that to me is a lifesaver, because honestly, without that, I don't know if I'll be gaming as much as I would, hope for, want to. But Stadia, I feel like it's going to be that for me as well. Just being able to play when I have the time and then continue from where I left off. But yeah,
Yep.
that's what really excites me about cloud gaming and Stadia in general. How about for you?
It's the same. So, I have my wife loves to watch, and this is funny because we talked about this last night, Ace. We have YouTube
Yeah,
TV as our TV provider,
yeah,
if you will. So we cut the cord. We have Netflix for Stranger
yeah.
Things and whatever other shows popping up out there. By the way, huge Stranger Things fan, if anyone doesn't
Good
know.
show. Good show.
Yeah. But long story short, so she gets up on Saturday mornings and she makes her coffee, and she likes to watch several, actually, believe it or not, YouTube creators that she enjoys.
Hmm.
Um, and when the TV is being used, that's where my PlayStation 4 is.
Yep.
So automatically, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's my
Yep.
I'm done. There's no gaming happening, and I don't own a Switch. I've wanted to potentially
Yeah.
get one, but I've kind of been on the fence about, is it something that we'll play all
True.
the time. She does like Super Nintendo. That was her
Ooh.
favorite original console. She loved the
Nice.
N64. We were actually talking about Yoshi's Island the other night. I was like, God, that game!
Yeah.
That game was, for me, it was
Yeah. That
a
game
life
was
changer. But
awesome.
it really was. So, but long story short, so when she's on the TV, I'm the only other option I have is, well, I'll go
Yeah.
watch YouTube videos. With Stadia,
Yes.
I can literally go in, make my coffee, and say,
Yeah.
you know what? For an hour, I'm gonna go play Darksiders Genesis, which,
You're looking
FYI, that's
forward
one
to
of the first games.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
100%. So I can go out, I can get in an hour gaming session out on my
Yeah.
front porch. My cat will come out and sit out there with me and enjoy, the nice. Hopefully in November, I'm in Florida, so hopefully we're not going to be like, burning in a toaster oven, which is basically what's happening
I
right now,
heard,
right?
man. That's
So,
crazy. It's hot. It's hot.
yeah, it is. So, and it's very humid here. So,
Oof.
but that's what I'm looking forward to. And the other thing too, one of my friends, I've got four friends that I'm very close with,
Hmm.
and we talked about this last night. All four of them are getting Stadia because of one major thing, and then
Yeah.
the second part's what we're talking about now. But the number one major factor is they don't have to go buy a console or a PC this next generation. They
Yes.
buy their game, they're in. And
Yeah.
they're like, why not? Why wouldn't I do this?
Right.
It's a cost effective approach.
Yep.
But my one friend, he has 3 kids. So his time is limited. And here's the thing, and if you have children, I don't, but my friends, I see it happen all the
Yeah.
time. I don't know if this happens with you, Ace, but um, whenever they want to go play on the PlayStation, the kids are on there playing Minecraft. They're playing something else. So,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
so no, but reality, man, they take over the
Yeah,
PlayStation.
they
So
do. They
he
do.
can't get on it until 11 o'clock at night
Yep.
because he doesn't want them to see what we play. We're playing right
Yep.
now a free title called Warface. If anyone's played it
Oh,
on
yeah.
the
Oh,
PlayStation,
yeah. You were
it's a
telling me
great
about
game.
that. Yeah.
By the way, if anyone hasn't played it, it's a great free FPS. Check it out. That's not me being paid by them or
Yeah,
anything.
sponsoring.
It's just a
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah.
So, but we talked about this yesterday, me and him, and he was like, I never even thought about this, but I could literally Saturday morning get up and be like, hey, Chase, he could just text me, hey, I'm thinking about jumping on, what was the other game we were talking about? Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on Breakpoint. Let's knock out a mission or two. I'm going to get on my laptop, and I'm going to go out on the front porch while you're on your Pixel 3a, and I'm going to go, you know what, bet, let's do it. Let's get on for a few. So there's just so much convenience involved in this. And just like you said, if you're at work and you're on your lunch and your job doesn't penalize you for being on your phone or your Chromebook or your Pixel book or whatever you have, you can play for a little bit. And I that's what excites me. I am looking so forward to the fact that I'm not going to be tethered to a television.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere and do it. We don't have the luxury of the UK. I don't know if did you see that article that got posted today about O2 and them doing unlimited data
No.
with the carrier? Yeah, I haven't read too much of it, so I want to be very careful not to jump too far ahead. But
So just what's the premise of it?
So basically, they're moving towards providing unlimited data to mobile carriers in the UK.
Wow.
Which is a game changer.
Wow.
I mean, if that happens, I mean, that literally does let you be everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. You can't do that right now with a mobile device.
Yeah.
You can't go off the cell tower. You'll use all your data.
Yeah, true.
But I'm just thinking, like, here's what excites me too is think in the next 10 years, because this is probably going to be the time frame that it's going to take, that you're out and you're outside and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to Starbucks. This is a terrible example, but I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to go get my coffee. And you know what? This new game just came out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play 30 minutes of it while I'm up there, and basically in an internet cafe.
Yep.
Like that blows my mind. Like it's not
incredible.
Something growing up. I don't know. The generation that you fall into, but we were landlocked to the Dreamcast with Power Stone and N64 and Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Like if you weren't in front of a television, you were done.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So it blows my mind that this is even a possibility.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me.
Yeah. I think Generation of Stadia saw a video that you posted about back in on live when it was first released, and I remember when that was first announced, I was like, this is pretty cool. But back then it was like, it's our internet isn't fast enough to handle this. But I believe that vision of just streaming, even though it wasn't available back then, I think it's people want it to be successful. That's why I believe in life tried it back then. But I feel like Stadia definitely has one of the best chance of knocking it out of the park because of Google's infrastructure.
We had a couple comments in the live chat. I was gonna just them real quick. So the one that stood out to me, I don't get a job for talking Stadia to the room, and then kind of the store Fat Burger, and I'm gone. Sonny's piece about Darksiders. So yeah, Sonny, Darksiders looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's a great game, and it's a different type of game compared to the other Darksiders titles. Generation talked about the freedom of streaming, which is what we just talked about.
Yeah,
100%. It's gonna be a game changer.
for sure.
What does this one say? Jay Smith said On Live is now part of the Sony. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's the point. Sony bought out On Live, most of that
yeah.
technology.
What I find interesting with the approach that Sony, they have the PlayStation Now, but from the way things are sounding, I don't know if you guys read the article about them, potentially using Microsoft as their infrastructure. To me, I'm like, what happened to buying Gaikai and on Live? What are they gonna do with that? Are they gonna scrap it, or are they gonna take that with them? I don't know. But I actually was thinking about going back and doing a PlayStation Now, 2019 review. But my 2018 experience was so terrible. I don't want to put myself in that situation again.
It's not good, man.
It's not good. It was a terrible experience. I'll just be honest with you. But last thing for me about what I'm excited for when it comes to Stadia is the crossplay, right?
Yeah.
In that interview with StadiaCast, Jen Justice was talking about like that's the goal, that's the hope. He wants pretty much every game on Stadia to have crossplay. And I feel like if that can happen, that'll be the best thing to happen. If you watch the VGA Video Game Award last year, when they had the Nintendo president, Sony, Microsoft, that right there is a picture of like what gaming should be, right? Just being able to play, if there's a third party game on every console, having that ability to play games with, one another without a restriction of what system you have. I say this because I want to play 2K on Stadia, right? But I don't want to have to repurchase, VCs to level up my character while I've already done that to Switch. But also, if, I have a lot of friends who own the PS4, I want to be able to play with them. And so if they are really pushing this and if they're really trying to get most of the third-party devs, to I know Destiny is a big one, that's going to be available cross-play with PS4, Xbox, and Stadia, which is cool. But if more games can do that, that'll be a beautiful thing for the game, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I think it was we were talking about that Warframe game that you were playing, and you were saying, what console do you play it on?
Chase? The Warframe game. Yeah, I've always been a Sony.
Okay. Yeah.
Sony guy through and through.
Right.
Primarily.
So I have it for Geforce Now, and I'm like, I want to play with you, right? But then there's that restriction of I can't play with you because but it's the same game. So it'll be so cool, like if Stadia really pushes that, and if third-party dev really gets serious about, the restriction and allowing us to play games on any console with anyone. That's my hope, with Stadia.
It's a big one, and it's one that, I think for everything, this is an interesting one. I think for everything that people, and I'm talking about the people that don't like Google and don't like Stadia for whatever their reasons are, this should be one reason why you root for Google.
Yeah.
They want to tear down the walls.
Exactly.
Tear down the barriers that we've had as gamers for, God, ever since I was young that I can remember. The first true online experience that I really had was with the PlayStation 3. We talked about this last night, was Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. That's where I first started playing with the friends that I play with, the clan that we've stuck together all these years. And that was back in 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
So, I think that day will come. Where I'm not so thrilled at the moment is that, and this is funny, I just said about Sony, this is where I've kind of lost the infatuation that I've had with Sony, because they've turned into they feel like they know better than you kind of an approach of, well, we want to landlock you still, and this is how we think is the right way to go about the process. And it's like, not really.
Yeah.
I get it from their perspective as a
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
that they don't want to, because then it gives more wiggle room
Yeah.
for maybe people to go back over to Xbox
Yeah.
if that might have been the
Yeah.
preference
Yeah.
on the title.
True.
Uh, but here's the thing, and this is the reality, and I think this is what Sony has to look at. They have a good lineup of games that we know will never come over
Exactly.
to Xbox or Stadia.
Yep.
So the value proposition for those games will always still be
Yep.
there. It's the games, like you said, Ace, that are the major players.
Yeah.
So the Call of Duties, the
Apex
Ghost,
Legends, the
Apex Legends, Fortnite,
Fortnites, yeah.
um, all the big players. I mean, FIFA's a huge. I mean,
Huge.
that's probably the second or third largest title across the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't have crossplay,
Yeah.
well, where are we at?
Yeah.
What is the point of that push? So I think we're going to get there. I think it's going to be a slow transition.
Yeah.
And I do think that streaming has a lot to do with this. And that everything you've said up to this point about the next 2 to 3 years, this is what's going to change what we know gaming as. Everything that we've known up to this point, throw it out the window, because things are going to change. I'm dead serious. Like,
Yeah.
the things that we've thought up to this point that weren't possible are going to be possible.
Yeah.
The things that we didn't think were going to happen are going to happen.
Yeah.
And I also think another really big one is that we're also going to see, as it relates to this cross progression component, you're going to be able to take your data from, and Stadia has already said they're for this, but taking your downloaded save data from the device that you're using, exporting it and moving it to another device. Like,
Oh my
again,
goodness.
those are
Wow.
things that, like, are just, they're mind blowing, man. It's
Seriously.
stuff that whoever thought that would be what we'd be doing. Like, I didn't think I'd be able to say, look, my Google account is going to give me my saved data, and let's say I want to still play on my PS4 on that title, I'm going to go over and play on my PS4 for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to just drop the data over. So it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is really cool. Definitely. If they can pull it off, it's very exciting. But I want to touch on something Generation of Stadia said here. He said with Stadia, it's not about putting games in the cloud, but building games with it in mind. And that's the big difference.
Yep,
100% agree with that statement. Seriously. I feel like that's what Sony is doing with PS Now. They just trying to, just put the games on the streaming service, as far as like creating games designed specifically for streaming. Cool. I like that.
Well, and think about what he's saying there. He's talking about the leveraging of the data center.
Yeah.
Think back to that GDC announcement where they showed them leveraging 4 or 5 Stadia server blade instances, and differences in the water quality of the game experience. Like, that stuff you cannot do on a console. Here's another one. Look at Orcs Must Die 3.
Yeah.
500 orcs all in one shot. You cannot. I'm telling you guys this.
That's insane.
Like, facts.
That's
you
insane.
cannot do this on a console.
That's insane.
So it's mind-blowing stuff that none of us ever thought would be possible.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's exciting. That's again, Generation good. Like, love that
good
statement
shout.
for sure. So I'm gonna be quick with this, but my rant with Sony, you were kind of mentioning it. The whole slogan with the PS4 was for the players, right? The commercials for the players. And Sony, the history, PS1 very successful, PS2 one of the most successful consoles ever created, and then they got really cocky, right? We saw what happened with PS3. The price of that console was ridiculous. They weren't thinking about the consumers. They wanted to push Blu-ray, so the price was ridiculous. They didn't have good first party IPs with the launch of the console. It was just terrible launch. They weren't thinking about the consumers. They just messed up, right? they were thinking about money and how to push the products with Blu-ray and stuff like that. And then with PS4, they learned a lot. It was, they pretty much, Microsoft took Sony's approach with the PS3, where it was all about like high price console. It wasn't about the gamers. It was more about what they can make out of it, provide the most entertainment console ever with the Xbox camera or whatever that nonsense was called. Anyway, I feel like Sony's going back to that cocky phase where, they just, the PS4 was successful, and they're starting to get a little arrogant with, just Microsoft just taking the approach that PlayStation took, where, okay, we want to be more for the players now. We're trying to bring our game to every platform. We're trying to work with Nintendo. Then Sony's like, yo, we got this. So I hope that they don't get cocky again to where they mess up with, the PS5, right? I hope they humble themselves and work with the third-party dev and think about the consumers, because if not, I feel like they'll just end up back to where they were with the PS3 era. Anyway, that's just a little tangent.
No, you're right, and that's what makes me very frustrated with Sony right now, and why, this is part of the reason, I'll be honest with you, why I even looked at Stadia to begin with, was because I saw the writing on the wall, and the next consoles that are going to come out, so Scarlett with Microsoft and the PS5, anyone that thinks that these consoles are going to be under $600,
yeah.
It ain't happening, folks. It just isn't. There's no way, with ray tracing and the SSD that they're talking about doing. Those are new emerging technologies that are expensive, and to get you to be able to purchase it and to get it down to a lower price point than that, that's not going to be where it's at right off the bat. Then factor in, I want to be very careful because I don't want to be political about anything, but then you factor in where things are with the tariffs that are going on in the country right now, and stuff coming from overseas. Now you're looking at prices going up even higher there. So there's a lot of things that point towards that this is going to be unattainable for a lot of people. And this is, we talked about this last night. Imagine next year when Google puts up this ad, and this is going to happen. Actually, I just had my, when I said Google, my phone went off. So imagine this ad, Microsoft Scarlett, 600, I don't know if this is going to be what it is, but $650. PS5, $599.
Yeah.
Google Stadia,
zero. Free.
When you see that as a consumer, your initial thought is going to be, okay, hold on, stop, because people play this whole thing of, well, there's a catch.
Yeah.
Then they're going to go visit the site. Then they're going to read about it. Then they're going to go, well, there isn't a catch.
Yeah.
I just got to buy my game. I just have to have internet. And most people, I mean, let's be real. Most people spend more money on their internet than they do their cable, right? They're not they'll shut their cable off and make sure they've got the best internet before they worry about anything else. So this notion that we keep hearing about, well, no one's going to want to have the internet for this, is just not the reality. So
no, good point. And like we stated, once they see the price of the Xbox, the PS, and then Stadia is free, and we talked about that hands-on experience, right? Once they get to try it and they see that it actually works, they're like, what the heck am I gonna pay that much money to get an Xbox while this works and it's free, right? So good point. So we I want to kind of keep this kind of short. I think we covered a lot of the stuff.
We did.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I think we're good on that. But just want to talk about what the future podcast will look like. Like I stated earlier, I think it's really important to get the Stadia community involved. So next podcast, actually, I'm talking with the Glory of Stadia, and he wants to be a part of it. So we're going to try and get him in the next podcast. And also, I'm talking with other, passionate Stadia fans. And, just getting you guys' input, man. Chase, again, thank you for just, being be willing to just come on here and just share your knowledge about Stadia. It is beneficial, right? We get to know you. People get to hear, just your passion, and it's pretty cool. I gotta say, it's really. We were talking for how long last night, man? Just off camera. Like, it was just fun getting to know you and getting to just talk about things that you enjoy when it comes to gaming and Stadia. So it's really neat.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and I think you got a couple other chats here. I can probably go over them real quick in a second,
Yeah.
but the the I think the biggest thing is you all, and I saw this, full disclosure, I'll go ahead and say this now because I haven't said it in any of my videos. I used to do YouTube videos way back. I actually did MMA videos and was part of a community early on, in, talking about mixed martial arts and UFC and Pride and anyone that follows MMA, if you know anything about those organizations. But the one thing that made that community unique is everyone was in it together. And I think that will be what makes you all strong. And I don't consider myself a creator, like some of you guys are, even though I know I put videos up. But we all are part of that community as watchers and listeners and everything else. So really uniting and making sure that the factual components of what the service is and what cloud gaming is, even xCloud, and when Amazon comes out, and if this Walmart service comes, just talking about what the pros are, what the cons are, and then people can make an informed decision. And if they don't want to use the service, again, I said it in the beginning of the video, that's your preference. Yeah. By all means, do what's best for you, but don't hate on something just because you don't want to use it. Someone else might want to. And that's really the biggest thing, with that.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that, because the slogan of this channel is respect the tech, salute the gamers. And the respect the tech part is pretty much just that, right? Like I talked about, I wasn't a Nintendo guy. I actually, because of the Wii U experience, I was like, yo, I'm done with Nintendo, right? I bought it high price, didn't support it. I'm just like, I'm burnt, Nintendo burnt me. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to pick up a Switch. But then I went and I played it, and I was like, yo, this is one of the best, playing Zelda and playing it anywhere. I was like, this is one of the best experience. And to me, actually, Sunny Side TV, the channel that Sunny runs right now, the Nintendo channel. By the way, if you guys didn't know, we have a second channel where we cover Nintendo stuff. But that originally was like a tech and gaming channel, and pretty much we covered everything when it came to tech. And that was the slogan for that channel. Just like being open to like everything, because the truth of the matter is, if Microsoft is successful, it's good for the gaming industry. If Google pulled this off, it's good for the gaming. Even if Apple can pull something off with their Apple Arcade, it's beneficial for the gaming industry. So I really want to respect every tech on the channel. So yeah, I'm gonna cover xCloud. I'm gonna cover Atlas. I'm gonna cover every single one of those things. And I feel like it's a good place, for people to just come get knowledge and get to see what it looks like just running, because a lot of people have questions, they have doubts. And I feel like this channel hopefully will help just.
No, and I think it does. I want to address something real quick that I noticed here in the chat, and I know we got to wrap up, but I just want to talk to something, and I don't know if you want to talk to some of these other ones that are up here, but this response from, it looks like it's Goresk. I don't even know how to pronounce the name. Let me just say something real quick to this comment that's on here about, I'm not going to use Stadia. In fact, I'm going to disrespect the Stadia and boycott it.
Hold on. I know who that is. So he's trolling. He's trolling hard. Okay. He's from our Switch community. He always trolls.
Okay, I got you. I was going to say, man, I'm ready to. Let me just put something out there.
That's Grosk, man. He's always trolling. It's hilarious.
Good catch, my man.
He's
You're
hilarious.
Like, do it.
But no, he's a Patreon actually for the Switch. He's one of our supporters. Gross, man, stop trolling. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Jay Smith also said on here that hopefully Google makes a strong attempt of getting developers to talk about the advantages of Stadia. I think they've done that already, and I think they will continue to do
Yeah.
that. And I think you've already started to see what the approach that John took in that Stadia Cast interview. I think they will clean
Yeah.
that up, Jay. I think you're going to see more of Google trying to do a better job of highlighting those things. And I think the other thing on here is Generation Stadia basically said um, they won't even have to read it. If Google is smart, they will put a try now button on the trailer
Yep.
of a
Yep.
game. And John Justice touched
Yeah.
on that in the Stadia Cast interview as well. That they are going to have
Yeah.
trials for both people that don't have Stadia as a service and current
Right.
users.
That's gonna be exciting. Seriously, it's gonna be really exciting. Yeah, Stadia can come here soon enough, man. I'm excited. And like I was just thinking about this, Project X Cloud is gonna come out next month, and I'm really
Yep.
excited to see what that has to offer as well. So it's an exciting time. People are like looking forward to PS5 and Xbox Scarlet. I'm like, yo, cloud gaming's launching this year and no one is talking about it. Like, this is an exciting
No,
time.
and xCloud has every potential to be a very good
Absolutely.
service. I don't want to knock it. I
Absolutely.
think the more competition you have in this space, the better
Yeah.
for everybody.
So what I'm hearing with and yeah, we gotta wrap it. But what I'm hearing with XCloud, the disadvantage I think it has is the fact that they're using the current Xbox in the cloud to
Right.
run those games.
Right.
They said they're gonna update it when Scarlet comes out. But I feel like performance wise, Stadia is gonna have an advantage because what's powering, Stadia, like they stated, GDC's like more powerful than the PlayStation, Xbox One X put together, So, but I feel like as they, update from the OG Xbox to Scarlet, we'll see a performance increase too. But it's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. I'm really, really excited for these platforms or services coming out for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But fellas, appreciate you guys joining again. Chase, thank you for just being a part of this podcast, man. Your input, it's always fun talking to you about stadium. Just always, it's cool to see your input too, and like on everyone else's video and just on the groups as well, man. You have a lot to say. You have a lot of knowledge and wisdom. It's always cool just sharing with you about Stadia related and cloud gaming related stuff. So thank you for being a part of this.
No, I appreciate it, and I think I've said it in every video just very quickly that I do appreciate some people have subscribed to the channel that I have, watching some of the videos that I do, but I think people should really give folks like you, Ace, and Sunny on this channel, and Stadia Cast, and Glory of Stadia, and Generation Stadia. You guys are the folks that really need the subscriptions because you're delivering the everyday content, and that's what's going to matter moving forward. People that want to know about Stadia, about cloud gaming, about what's what's happening, what's the shake, what's the movement, where's things shaking. These are the folks, ladies and gentlemen, that you really want to check out. And I can't say that enough. Ace, you do an absolutely amazing
Thank
job.
you.
So
Thank you.
you and
Yeah, I feel like, again, just to plug some people in here, there are a lot of other great creators to definitely check out. Yo, Generation, I see you still in here. Seriously, bro, the hustle is real and you are killing it, bro. Like, consistent video. I tried to do that, but again, it's a family man and working. It's hard to, I tried to make a video a day, but just seeing you came out like 2 weeks ago and you've been like on point and your videos are really, really cool. So keep it up, man. Keep up the grind. YouTube is not easy, man. People might think it's easy, but I know that that's work that goes in. So
it's not
yeah,
easy, man. Doing these videos, doing the
editing.
editing
Oh
that you
my
guys
goodness.
do,
And then
take it from somebody
yeah,
that used to do it too. I know what you guys
yeah,
go through. It's if you think this is easy, just throwing up a video
yeah.
every day, it's
Yeah,
absolutely not.
it's not. It's a lot of work. And then the Glory of Stadia too. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, he's I believe he's in British, right?
Yeah, he's in the UK.
UK, yeah, that's what I was trying to get. But he also covers Stadia related content stuff too. So shout out to him there as well. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's hard for sure. It takes up, so it does. But yo, keep up the grind, man. It'll pay off. It'll pay off. Just keep working at it. That's it though. Again, Chase, really appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and stream Borderlands 3 right after this. So if you guys are interested to see what that looks like running GeForce Now, stay close. It's gonna be in about 20 minutes. But again, Glory always be cracking jokes in this. Yeah, he does. It's funny because he laughs at his jokes too. It's hilarious.
He's a funny character.
He is.
I think that's the reason why I enjoy his videos so
Yeah.
much. Is it's such a different take
Yeah.
on how he approaches and how he delivers content. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
Yeah, he is pretty funny. All right, fellas, thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, just stay tuned for Borderlands 3 on GeForce Now if you're interested in that. Again, Chase, thanks a lot, man. We'll catch up. We'll definitely include you in another podcast going forward.
No worries, and y'all have a great night.
All right, man. Take care.